Hey there, guys. I wanted to talk a little bit about sort of the joy of tabletop sports, the joy of playing it yourself and doing it all mechanically. This is something that I think has been lost over the last couple of decades with the focus on computerized games and on having these games that have automatic computer managers that can play against themselves and that can give you a realistic approximation of what the game is like, or even play a full game in a matter of seconds and stuff like that. None of that is bad, but there's something to be said for doing it yourself, right? I mean, there's something to be said for having, some of these things in your hand, right? Using little dice like this, using stuff like this, because when you're using these little die in your hand and it is you who is making the result happen, it feels different. You have more ownership over it. You feel like this is my project. This is not some project that is the game's owner, that belongs to the game, or that is what the game approximates would have happened if X, Y, or Z took place, or whatever. It's something that feels more like it really belongs to you. It gives you this feeling that, this is the league that I played, and these are my players, and I'm the one who knows them, right? That's really what the joy behind this is, and that's why I consider this to be a lot more fun than some of the competitors, including playing with your more graphically based video games. So I'll sort of show you here what I mean. We'll look here at Skeetersoft first, and then we'll probably take a quick look at Diamond Mine. What I can tell you is that when I look at the standings here, I have a pretty good feeling for how each of these teams are playing. I've complained before. I know that the New York Highlanders of 1908 are definitely not one of my favorite teams. It's not a good team. You can tell when you play with them. They've lost 9 in a row here. I would estimate that they probably will wind up in last place. Now, there have been surprises here, and guess what? I have been here for every one of these games. There are a couple I know that you haven't, because I haven't been recording every single one. But, for the Athletics, for the Naps, the Browns, and the Red Sox, I've seen how each of these teams play and know that each of them probably has a chance at competing for a pennant, right? Same thing's true for the Giants and Cubs, and I've seen sort of the frustration that has taken place in Pittsburgh as the Pirates have been nowhere near as good as they were initially believed to be and as they've been advertised to be. That's the thing. When you play with it yourself, even though I don't have the cards on me, the cards are all here in the software. When you play it yourself and you're the one who's pushing the mechanics forward, it feels like it's yours. It feels like this is your replay. This isn't someone else's replay. This isn't an automatic approximation. This is one where you're there for all the action. You're there for everything that goes on. You're there every single step of the way. That's important, right? Because if the Athletics do win the American League pennant, which would be a crazy result, I can say, hey, man, I was there for it all. I know that this was a legitimate result because I rolled all the dice, right? I put everything into motion. I played every one of these games out. I know that this is exactly what needed to happen, or what happened in this variation of the replay. We go look over here at Diamond Mine Baseball. I think we can probably see a similar thing, right? So this Diamond Mine replay has gone along a little bit further. We're about 40-something games into it with each team. New York Giants are coming off to a pretty steady lead in the National League. I've been talking with you guys about this over and over again. And the cool thing about this, at least for me, is playing through all these games and seeing this happen, right? I mean, the Brooklyn Dodgers have, without question, a great lineup. But they don't have the pitching that they need, and they keep faltering and disappointing because the pitching can't always keep track of the offense. And if they play games with the wind blowing in, or if they're playing in a pitcher's park, they have trouble because the poor pitching starts to stand out like a sore thumb. And if the offense isn't able to get 10 runs in off on the opposition, they're not going to play quite as well. The American League, on the other hand, in 1949 has been fascinating, with the Indians, the Red Sox, and the Yankees all clamped together up at the top, and the Philadelphia Athletics, who really were not that competitive in real life, or on the outside kind of trying to fight their way in. That's the thing that makes this amazing, right? So I get to play all of these games. I get to see this happen. I can see that the Athletics are a powerful team, at least for the Diamond Mine Baseball world, even though they weren't quite that good in real life, right? In real life, they were in 5th place, just a little bit above 500. They were behind the Tigers. In this replay, it's looking pretty clear that the Athletics will end up finishing above the Tigers, and they might end up sneaking through and winning it all. I mean, we'll see. It's a little early to tell, but you get that feeling because of the way that what was it? I was about to say the Eddies, but no, the guys who are starting in their lineup. I should probably go here and actually look at the Athletics roster, but because of the way that these guys can get on base. There we go, roster manager profile. The way that these guys can get on base is the thing that's so amazing about this. Yeah, Eddie Juiced, is simply amazing. And then this is showing me the real life lineup. I don't want to see that. Let's see. Here we go. Save lineup normal. There we are. Here we go. Eddie Juiced, who has a 422 on base percentage, and Elmer Valo, who has a 453 on base percentage. It's because of guys like this that the Athletics just keep scoring runs, right? You go over here, look at their real life lineup against like right-handed players, pitchers, and you have Valo hitting 6. Against lefties, you have Allo again hitting 6, right? I mean, you can do that if you want, but it's a lot more fun to take these guys, to stack them up at the top of the lineup, get both of these guys on base, and see if any of these guys can push them over. I don't know. For me, that's just a lot more entertaining. It's a lot more interesting to see happen. And you see revelations like Wally Moses hitting 325, Elmer Valo hitting 331, and so on and so forth. That's kind of what the cause is behind this, and that's kind of the reason why the Athletics are playing so well. It's stuff like this that makes it fascinating, though, and I'll tell you that if I were playing only one game at a time and letting the computer manager handle the rest, the replay would be done by now. It would be a lot faster if I just chose one team and went for it, but we'd miss out on a lot of fun. We'd miss out on a lot of good games. We'd miss out on a lot of tension and a lot of the drama that goes along with this. I also realized that none of these teams in the last 10 are really dominating. They're all right around 500. 4-6, 6-4, some at 5-5. Interesting how that works, isn't it? Anyway, I know it's difficult, as you can imagine, to do good quality videos based on games like this. Those of us who've been around the simulation world for a long time know that it can become tiresome to listen to other people talk about their projects all day long, and it's especially difficult. I hate to say this, but if you're dealing with fully fictional leagues, and especially if you don't know who any of the players are, it can become really boring. But I can tell you that it's been a lot of fun, at least to this point, to share this with everybody. It really brings a different level of excitement and enjoyment to the project for me. Playing through everything really, really quickly, if that were an option, would get results quickly, but it's not always about the results. Sometimes it's about the process, and it's about having fun with it. And that really is sort of my ode to replays. I'll talk with you again later. Take care. Bye.